I'd like to call the Wednesday, May 4th, Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. It is approximately 9:07 a.m. and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Andrea Smith.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes 2-0. Public comment. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak here or on social media?
I don't have anything on social media yet.
Clerk Treasurer, claims approval.
Okay, we have City of LaPorte payroll for 4/29, which I'm really proud of, the last couple payrolls.
And would you like to tell us why?
That's not what I have.
No, that's okay. $456,424.07.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second that. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
We have civil city claims in the amount of $277,239.81.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
We have water claims in the amount of $66,941.38.
Motion to approve.
Second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
Sewage claims in the amount of $368,529.10.
Motion to approve.
Second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Treasurer Parthun. It's great to see you back with the living.
Great to be back.
Department head report. Let's begin with Mr. Schreiber. I like that hustle in your step.
Well, yeah, I was the furthest back, so I didn't know if you'd start with me or not, but good morning. Last week we did announce the headliner entertainment for Lake Fest. We're very excited for this event this year, July 29th through 31st at our various parks and lakes. So we're excited. Last year we had a great inaugural event, so the committee really wanted to bring some great entertainment back, keeping in mind this is all free entertainment. And but we wanted to change the genres up a little bit. So we have Clayton Anderson putting on a country concert out on Stone Lake Beach on Friday night, the 29th. Also that night we'll have a comedy show with Brent Terhune kind of headlining that. Some people are familiar with the Bob and Tom Show. Brent's one of the writers for them, and he has a lot of internet content out there, so people can check him out. And then Saturday night, July 30th, we're doing an 80s bash. Along with fireworks, we'll have a couple tribute bands out there. The Breakfast Club, who kind of does a pop and rock from the 80s mix-up. And then after the fireworks, we'll have Hair Bangers Ball, who's kind of like a hair metal tribute band. It's going to be a lot of fun. They're very popular, play all across the Midwest, so excited to have them coming in. This is on top of all the other great events we've got planned. People can go to LaporteLakeFest.com, see where our planning's at right now. We are currently working to get sponsors in. We have several commitments already. Had a lot of excitement after the announcement on Friday, so anybody who is interested on sponsoring, please get a hold of us right away, because those opportunities are going to go quick. The other thing I'd like to bring up is we are still doing hiring at the park department. We are in need of concession stand workers. People can contact us or go to the city website, find out more information on that. Also hiring seasonal maintenance. So we will hire seasonal maintenance right away. So if anybody's looking for a job, maybe something short term, somebody's maybe home from school for the summer, or looking for a summer job, high school age, please get a hold of us. We've got plenty of opportunities at the park department.
Thank you, Mark. And I know I don't fit the mold, but I'm very excited about the Headbangers Ball, so I love that music. Beth West, Transport.
Morning. We finished April as one of our highest months, next to March of this year, post-pandemic. So we're very excited that our numbers up. To date, we're at 12,788 riders. We ended April with 3,260, which is we're averaging about 125 riders a day. Just so everybody knows, we keep pushing about riding transport. Just so you know, gas now is at what, $4.35. Propane's running us $2.33. So masks are optional on all the buses. We still provide them if you want them. So if you feel more comfortable wearing a mask riding the bus, just ask a driver. All the buses are loaded with masks. So thank you.
David Heinhold, Planning.
Good morning. Just sharing one quick update for the City of LaPorte Active Living Workshop next Thursday, May 12th. This is an all-day workshop, 9 to 4. We've got Indiana Health by Design coming in with the Indiana Department of Health Division of Physical Activity and Nutrition, putting on a workshop, putting on a walk audit with some presentations in the morning, tour around the neighborhood, around the Civic Auditorium. I forgot to mention this at the Civic. Registration we'll be accepting at 8:30, so for that same day, but we're encouraging people to sign up ahead of time. This is an opportunity for people to attend the workshop, learn about how they can get engaged in their community, and how to improve walking and bicycling around neighborhoods, especially around Lincoln Elementary School, the Civic, and in our downtown. Any questions? All the information is on the website as far as how to sign up. We've got a link out there in a couple of different places on Facebook and the website. So any questions, let me know.
Thank you. Andrea Smith, Human Resources.
I'm on the agenda, so I will wait till that time.
Okay, with any updates though for HR other than that? How much you're loving this new opportunity?
I am loving it. Courtney and I will begin with Paylocity within, well, I think we're having a meeting this week, and then the next couple of meetings after that, we're really going to get going on it. We did hire the payroll HR person, so we're going to get her in 2 weeks from yesterday, and we're going to be ready to roll. So
great to have you.
And we're ready. We are ready to roll. I am ready to roll on this, let me tell you.
We all are.
Now, I am going to give Mr. Cook from LEAP a little grace. If you'd like to speak from there, that is acceptable.
I have no report this morning, thank you.
And we wish you well on your recovery.
Thank you.
You're no longer 25 years old. I just want to remind you of that. Jess Bruder, Communications.
Good morning. We did get the okay from Think Tank to go ahead and move forward with the new solution for the minutes and agenda storage for the website. We're able to use Google Drive with some added security from them, so that's going to cost the city nothing, which is a fantastic solution. Also, Taco Fest is this Friday, 6 to 10 from La Stitch. I think it's going to be another exciting year. We had a great turnout last October for this event, and it will be held rain or shine, barring any severe weather. So that's all I got.
So you've committed to that.
We've
As I look
committed.
at the forecast for Friday, you're committed to rain or shine.
Rain or shine, barring any severe weather. In that case, Brett Van Persie will make the call.
All right, thank you. Andy Snyder, Fire Department.
Thank you, Your Honor. Today and next Wednesday, the Committee of the Fire and Merit Commission members, as well as department personnel, will meet with 20 interviews for applicants to finalize our hiring list for the next 2 years. So we're excited about that. Also would like to pass along a big thank you to everyone who came out and supported the pancake breakfast on Saturday morning. It was a huge success.
It'd be a long list to thank because you had about 700 people.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. We were pretty surprised.
Paul Breton, Police Department.
We had one of our new recruits start Police Academy at ILEA down in Indianapolis on Monday. We have 4 more going in August. Still waiting for the state to give us the okay on the last one. Hopefully we'll swear him in next meeting. And then our lateral transfer won't start till June because he wanted to wait till his wedding, which is in Pennsylvania. And he figured he better serve to take care of matters there, which I don't blame him. And the other thing is all the lease vehicles are done but one now, and they're on the road.
Jeff Batchelor, Streets.
Morning. We're out hot patching. We got trees that we're taking down. We're street sweeping. For code, we've been right around a little over 1,200 violations so far this year. And then also, if you can mark on your calendar, May 15th, 2022, that's a Sunday from 2 to 4. We're going to partner with LaPorte High School Athletics and Danny Streeter to take and do a cleanup around different roads. We're going to target them. And then afterwards, Danny Streeter's going to buy pizza for everybody.
Do we have to talk to him? He buys pizza?
I think that's going to be automatic.
All right, thank you. That's very nice of Danny to do. Nick Otis, Legal.
Just one update. I played very poor defense this morning at the YMCA and allowed the mayor to hit 2 clutch shots to end the morning to beat my team.
Game winner, if we're just going to add that.
That's all.
Nick Minnick, Engineering.
Yeah, so we currently have some construction going on downstairs. The building engineering and code enforcement is available through the service window where the violations office used to be here at the first floor at City Hall. So we'll be closed downstairs for at least this week, maybe next week, but we'll be available via phone and have our engineering coordinator up here to be accessible. Paving has started. I think you'll talk about that in a little bit, but what we're doing right now is concrete work, so ramps that are associated with the project. We have our 18th Street walkthrough tomorrow, so we should be able to close that out shortly after that walkthrough. There are already a couple items that we know we need to have addressed. And then sometime between this meeting and next meeting, we'll have an addendum to our contract with Lockmuller for the Chessie 2 project, and we're gonna use them for construction inspection temporarily, hopefully, while we get through the NDOT process to make sure that we have the right consultant doing that work too.
And thanks for all your work on this paving presentation. Somehow I'm missing something because people are yelling at me about doing Michigan Avenue again, and I'm like, Michigan Avenue, I don't know how much simpler we can make this, or how we, do this or something so people understand it, but I think you've done a great job of explaining how the paving process works.
The only project that we have that something has been done recently would be Kingsbury Avenue, but Kingsbury Avenue had surface treatment, so it had a fog seal, which was meant to preserve it so that we could get to this point and do a little more work on it. So we're not redoing streets we've done yet, but we will at some point. That's part of the way streets deteriorate. So.
All right, Lori Larson, wastewater, substitute for Jerry Jackson.
Thank you, Mayor. We are currently in the middle of a phosphorus removal project out at the plant. It's going well. We're having a hard time, as everybody is, with supply chain and getting materials, but things should wrap up mid-summer. Monroe Manor sewer separation project is underway. The heavy rain and water has been pretty difficult. It's postponed curbs and some paving, but it's only 3 or 4 days behind schedule, so we're moving well on that. We just finished the sewer extension on McClung Road, and I believe later we're going to have a application ask for that. We're hiring. We did hire a person to work days in our plant. He's going to start in a week and a half. We are going to be advertising for an admin position, project manager and admin position very soon with HR. I'm excited about that. And I think that's about it.
Thank you. Tim Werner, water.
Good morning. Crews will be finishing up the spring flushing tonight, so that process has gone well. I know I've spoke about the water quality and gathering the fire flows in past meetings. Another important part of hydrant flushing is getting our hands on all 1,100 hydrants in the city, which during that process we found 5 non-working hydrants that were working in the fall. Things happen to them over the winter, so I just wanted to make everybody aware of that we also, it's a good chance for water department staff to get their hands on every hydrant in the city. We did have we're under the process of an emergency repair for one of our wells at our east plant. It's EPB. We had a pump failure in that well. They're about 12 years old. Weren't expecting the pump to fail like it did, but it did. So we're in the process of pulling that and getting a new pump installed. While we have all that equipment out, it was on our list last year. We clean 2 wells a year. We prioritize them, and EPB was 3rd on the list. So while we have all that pumping equipment pulled, we're going to go ahead and do a tank cleaning on it. That'll save us money in the long run for mobilizing the crew and pulling all that equipment out of the well. We were going to have to clean it this year anyway, so a little bit of savings there by doing the repair now. Other than that, the crews are staying on top of the paving list, which the public will hear about today. You know, taking valves out of manholes, putting buffalo boxes around them, just to some of them old brick structures are a little shady, so when we put valve box around them, they hold up a lot longer than they would have.
And you said buffalo box, right?
Yeah, that's the.
I just wanted Jess to be able to define a buffalo box.
For later today, if you would define it for me now.
So Tim, if you want to define that for us.
So it's a valve box. It's just terminology. You see the round valves in the street that say water on them. That's a buffalo box. That gives us access to be able to key up a valve that's under the pavement. I know the mayor
name
didn't know
says
that.
it
That's
all,
why he was
Mayor.
asking. Other than that, where they're putting ramps in around town, we're moving hydrants or addressing any valves that are in the way of that. That way those structures can be sound and we don't have any problems with them in the future.
And when you say moving hydrants, literally moving hydrants?
Yeah, we've had to move one. So the ramps are a little wider than what we're used to in the past. So a lot of times the hydrants are right in the corner. If you can imagine across, you know, the sidewalk, you know, there's an exit on this road and onto the adjacent road. A lot of times that little square right there is where we put the hydrant. So now that those ramps are a little larger, we've had to move some valves out of the way, buffalo boxes. That way they're not in the sidewalk. Just staying ahead of the paving list. That way we don't have to rework something that's already been done.
I just think it's important for those that think government spends too much, do these things too much. You talk about moving a hydrant like it's, you know, throwing a trash can away, and you make it seem so simple. There's some real technology that goes with that, and it's very difficult. And who's going to do it if we don't have qualified people here to do that?
For sure. My guys love doing construction projects like this. It's what they thrive for, and they like it. So we'll take them as they come, and we'll get them completed.
Thank you.
Mayor, we did have a question, I think it was for Nick Minnick, about the, she actually took the question down, but it was a good question about just Chessie 2, like what the timeline for that and where that'll go.
So that actually has a May 5th letting, so that's...
What does that mean for?
So letting is when essentially the state opens bids, and then from those bids we'll, you know, verify that we have qualified bids, and the project will be awarded through INDOT. So tomorrow's kind of the big day. Usually it takes about a month, maybe a little bit more after that letting date to see some movement to get all the contracts through the system. So we're looking at June, July start of construction of Chessie 2.
And the length of, like, where will that go exactly?
So the Chessie 2 trail starts at the intersection of Newport Boulevard and Pine Lake Ave. It crosses at the signal, and then it goes down the Chessie right-of-way, past the water department, down Tyler Street, past the hospital to First Street, and then from First Street it heads west and then ends close to the transport and street department. So it crosses the J Street, Lincoln Way, First Street kind of intersection there, and then goes another couple blocks. So it's a really nice leg to the Chessie Trail from a user standpoint. So when we design these projects and we plan for these projects and then apply for the money, we look at how many users each area touches, and this one really gets a very big kind of population-based access to that trail. So pretty excited about it.
And that was from Christina Carney. She appreciated answering her, and she says she uses the Chessie often.
Thank you, and stay tuned for the Chessie 3.
Chessie 3 is coming up.
Thank you. I think we've covered all the questions. So we're going to give you a brief version of what we provided with our city council on this year's paving plan. And so we'll walk through this again briefly. Jess, do you want to, if you need to move, or can you tell or see?
I'm good from here, but do you need to see the TV?
No, I'm
You're good?
okay. So,
Okay.
again, this is the 2022 City of LaPorte paving plan, improving our roads one project at a time. A little history, and I'm going to just do a slide. Nick, if you don't mind, I'm going to. Perfect. Amazing to hear that, you know, really before 2015, we didn't even have, the city did not have a paving plan or records of what was paved. And you know, people ask, why are we so sensitive to the property tax debacle that's happening currently? It's because we've seen what's happened 6 years, for a 6-year time period when paving couldn't happen because we couldn't get property tax bills out. So we have a lot of ground to catch up. It won't happen overnight. And thanks to Nick Minnick implementing the asset management program, we're getting away from worst first, only doing roads that are bad, as well as only doing roads that council people want. And now going to an actual program that for the future, beyond my time, your time, and everybody else's, that there'll be a plan in place that will keep our roads in a good quality condition. But we have to first get there with what we're doing today. City streets, and just in a comparison, we have 113 miles of city streets, which is equal to 3,416 basketball courts. And to give you an example, we're able to only do about 150 basketball courts a year of paving. Maintenance, you know, a lot of people say, just let's get all the roads done. If we wanted just to pave the top part of it, $42 million a year. If we wanted to, and I think Nick put it best, Monroe Manor, every street, is that fair to say? Monroe Manor, that cost would be $400 million a year, and we're only guaranteed an average of $728,000 a year in local fees annually, which is the $2 a month waste fee, street fee, as well as the wheel tax. And how do we determine roads that are paved? Nick, I'm going to ask you for a very brief version of the asset management program.
So we use what's accepted by the state, and it's essentially the preferred method, which is the PACER rating. The PACER rating system is a 1 to 10 scale for the surface condition of a road. It doesn't necessarily tell you everything that's going on with that road, but it does give you a very, very good understanding of the current condition, and you can determine a lot of the issues with the road with that surface rating and the failures within the surface. So we use that scale to import into our asset management system, and then, you know, our initial PACER rating after we'd done a paving program in 2015 was a 4.6. Our goal over 5 years was to get it, you know, somewhere in the high fives, and we're over a 6 point. We're at a 6.1 currently as of last fall. So we're kind of keeping on track and maybe even doing a little better than we had hoped on trying to get our entire road network in the condition that, you know, our community needs and deserves.
And the main part, worst first doesn't work.
Yeah, worst first doesn't work, and this is a question we get. I think at the council meeting we had it kind of asked twice in the same way after we kind of keep presenting the same thing, and essentially, if you are only fixing the worst streets are the absolute most expensive streets to fix. So you're looking at somewhere closer to that, you know, $400 million per every street number. You're looking at the difference of being able to resurface the street at about $100,000 a mile to reconstructing at about $2 million a mile. So we need to be keeping our good streets in good condition in order to have the funds to go in and address the worst streets properly. So it's not that we're ignoring them at all. What we're doing is we're prioritizing resources in order to have the funds to go in and fix the worst streets properly. again, if we just focus on the really bad ones first, we don't have the funds to maintain the ones that are in decent condition at a lower cost, and then those become bad, and then we're continually having a worse and worse PACER rating or worse and worse overall street network. So the worst first mentality and philosophy, though it seems nice to say mine's bad, I need it fixed, we need to look at the whole road network and figure out how to make sure we're being efficient with tax dollars.
Thank you. And examples here?
Yeah, so the 2s and 3s, so some of the streets on our list right now, say Boyd Boulevard, shows up in our PACER rating from a couple of years ago as about a 5, but it's probably at least a 3, if not pushing a 2 in some areas. So that's a good one for people to kind of recognize.
One is a good score, right? Or,
well, no, 1 is a bad score.
Bad score.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
10 is the
Yeah.
best. Okay.
Some of the other streets on our list, so like Andrew Ave, south of 18th Street, is kind of in that 2 to 3 range. That one's getting full depth pavement. When you get up to, say, a 7 or an 8, Michigan Ave, which was done about 3 years ago, but again, was an 1.5 inch overlay because the street wasn't in absolute terrible condition. We were able to do an 1.5 inch overlay for significantly less than a reconstruction, and although it started at really kind of a 9 the first year it was paved, because it can only be a 10 for 1 year after a reconstruction, after full depth pavement. So Michigan Ave right now is probably in that 7, maybe 8 in some blocks range, so 7 to 8. So that just kind of shows you, even within a few years, we see that deterioration, and using asset management, not going in and doing full depth pavement, we're going to get a lot of life out of that street before we need to go in and spend, millions of dollars to get it fully reconstructed.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
And where do we get the money? Paid at the BMV, the wheel tax, $15 for motorcycles, $25 for cars, and $40 for trailers. Generates an average of $535,000 annually. And based on $535,000, Nick, a full road, or I guess, how do you want to say, curb to curb, for 1 mile is how much?
It's
to repave completely.
Full 2 lanes is about $2 million. It's about $1 million per lane mile. So most of our streets are 2 lanes, which means you're looking at about $2 million.
And we received $535,000, and we are appreciative of our residents that pay into this, but it doesn't provide a lot of road paving that needs to be done, and then the street maintenance fee, $193,000 a year annually, so we get $800,000, $750,000 a year that we look to match with state funding. And I think the next slide, community crossings, we use our $750,000 to match whenever we can with community crossings. City of LaPorte pays half, state pays half, and then even better, federal grants when they are available, 80-20, where the city only has to pay 20% with an 80% match. And I think Nick put it best here. Our goal is to never let a wheel tax dollar be spent without a match. So sometimes we have to miss a state calling for community crossings and to build up our funds so that we can do more at the same time. Total wheel tax collected, and again, since 2016, we've collected $2.6 million, and it's enabled us to do 52 miles of paving projects at a cost of $11.2 million, because we're able to not just match 50-50, but 80-20 as well. And just think, if we did not have these funds since 2016, we've been only able to pave 17 miles. So that's why we're very thankful to the residents that pay into this. This will be on, the whole presentation will be on the website after this meeting today. But just to point out a couple, I think the biggest calls we get are about Washington Street from Michigan Ave to Madison. That's on the back side or on the north side of the jail. Darlington Street. I think I heard from one individual from our economic development team that said this is an embarrassment that we allow a road like this in business to be there, as well as Chicago, which we also hear a lot of complaints about for people that are dropping mail off on the north side of the post office. So those are the main areas. Kingsbury Ave is also good. It's going to be a good opportunity. This is our community crossings as we move forward, and that's the 50-50 as we move forward. Here's an example of Andrew Ave from 18th Street back to the end. As bad has been for some time. It needs to be done. 3rd Street, Division, and here is the circle where you drop the mail, and then Washington Street. So our hope is to begin after June 1st and over 1.8 million to improve just over 5 miles of paving. And then potential future projects, and I think a couple of these, F Street by the high school, Monroe Manor, where King Jerry Jackson has done a great job for everybody in Monroe, and they will love that. And then obviously we're continuing to work towards letter and number streets. And for those that go to the park all summer long, Truesdale has not been ignored, but there is a plan here to get Truesdale done over the next, I think, 12 months.
Yeah, and I'll just mention, we say potential future projects because these projects have not been bid and awarded, but they are projects that have either completed design or almost completed design, and we anticipate them being bid and awarded this year, but until we actually have that contract in hand, we don't like to guarantee things. So.
And again, Nick, do you want to go through briefly just all the color coding so people can see all the work being done and has been done?
Yeah, so I think what people, we kind of get the thoughts and opinions that we haven't been doing anything, and the reality is we've paved over half of the city streets in the last 5 to 6 years. All those pavements are kind of different treatments, but this map here just shows, you can really see we've made sure that all of our paving happens kind of across the city. Our asset management system really pushes for certain types of projects, but this map shows that, I mean, we are making a lot of progress on our streets. We need to keep making progress, though. We're not going to stop. We need to get to a place where our streets are in good condition.
Thank you. Jess Romine, questions from your perspective or anybody in the public, but we want to bring the Board of Works up of what's happening, so.
No, I appreciate it. I think it was a great presentation, and I like the way that you were able to break down and have the analogy between basketball courts and how many we can afford so that people can, well, it's much easier to understand that than saying, here's the dollars that we have and here's what we can spend, and it's a big number.
I did get a request from Clerk Treasurer. She prefers circus elephant analogy.
Well, I was going to say, we did circus
elephant.
elephants.
Well, so
Brownfield.
I would add that it's not in circus elephants, but we have to maintain
Baby circus elephants, mama circus elephants.
No, it's 11,120 circus rings that we have to maintain. Yeah,
okay.
with an average diameter of
Asking
42
you
feet.
shall receive.
So we can use whatever metric you want.
I'm not as familiar with circus rings. Are you,
No,
Mayor?
I prefer the circus elephant if we were going to use that, so. This will be on the website. People can call. My cell is 363-7293, and we prefer eyeball-to-eyeball conversations and would love to talk roads with anybody. So we will now move to, oh, by the way, any department heads that do not have business in front of the board can go have a fantastic day. It looks to be great, so enjoy. All right, request for Friday Night Live event.
This request is through Ben Versi for our Friday Night Live events. We've got several planned this year, and on this request, he's asking for permission for 4 of the 5 events. One of the events is special. It will use a portion of Michigan Avenue on the Friday night prior to Sunflower Fair. Thank you. And so this request is for May 6th, June 17th, August 19th, and October 21st. It is to use Monroe Street from Lincoln Way to State Street from noon until midnight on those dates, 4 dates.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second that. Discussion?
We had conversations with the business owners around this area as well to make sure that they're all
We're gonna make
informed,
sure
just like,
that
because
they're
that's
all
been a
informed.
concern. Okay.
I will.
Because the only closure at noon will be on State. Or I mean, on Monroe to State
on Monroe
from
to
Lincoln
State,
Way.
mhm.
And I don't think that was ever an issue. It was when we
It was
started
State.
So that should be good. And I just would like to point out Taco Fest, Cruisin', Cheeseburger in Paradise, and Small Town John Cougar. And those are all themes that are coming over the summer, so it sounds like it'll be fun. So with that, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
The next 2 events are both from April Kelly. One represents Go Aerial Fitness. She would like to use the area of Plaza 618 on Saturday mornings from May 21st through September. I'm not sure when ending in September. I think it aligns with the farmer's market. But they'll be over in the plaza doing Zumba fitness in the mornings. And they will not be closing the plaza, so they're just asking to use a portion of it.
Make a motion to approve.
I will second that. And this is both of them?
I think we're just doing Zumba
That's the first
first.
one for the
That's
Zumba. The
okay.
second one is the second Saturday, and it is 6 events. Second Saturday in June, July, August, September, October, and November. And it's sponsored by the Small Business Coalition, and they'll be doing a vendor's market, kids fitness classes, and some networking at the plaza. Also, the plaza will not be closed. They're not asking to close the plaza. It will be open to the public.
Can we approve both of those together?
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
I already made a
I
motion,
will
so should I
second that.
amend it?
Yes, please.
I'll amend my original motion for just Zumba to include Zumba and second Saturdays from June through November.
I will second that. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Thank you, Annette. Nick Otis, purchase agreement.
Yep. So there's been quite a bit on this transaction, but this is a good deal for the city. This is a purchase agreement between the city for a vacant parcel in Indiana Portfolio 1. And what this company is, they have acquired all of the adjacent land. They're the only adjacent landowner. And they're also requesting the vacation of a street as well, and they're going to develop high-end, well, I don't know if high-end's the right word, but storage units in this area along the railroad tracks in Washington Street. So this is one of the last things that we need to do for this transaction. The street closure and alley closure, which are not before you, did go before the Traffic Commission and was recommended both by the fire and police chief as well. And I kind of a bad area, right? We've had some crime issues and some other, well, I guess almost a fire as well, correct?
It was actually a fire, yeah.
Andy, if you want to explain what happened on the last call, I think it was.
End of October, there's a culmination of several incidents into that area, but end of October, we were dispatched there for a working structure fire. Turned out after investigation, there were multiple Molotov cocktails found, as well as a couple of IEDs. So luckily, the Indiana State Fire Marshal's office got involved with that. Luckily, the next phone call that I heard from Bert was that the structures had been sold, and we were on a good path to get this cleaned up.
Even if this wasn't developed, this is a good move for the city. But now that we're going to have it developed as well, I think it's a bonus. So.
Yeah. So and again, this is only a very, very small parcel that the city owns that we're approving today. And I believe it's about 1/10 of an acre, if that. It's vacant. I believe we got it through a tax sale, or that may not even be right, but it's been vacant for nearly 30 years at this point. And you're going to see a lot of buildings that are in rough shape come down as a part of this. It's going to all be fenced in, again, improving safety in that area. And again, it's an area along the railroad tracks that I think fits well with this proposed development.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Are we making a motion for the sale of this piece of property or to also vacate?
No, you don't, the council does the vacation, it's just the purchase agreement, correct?
I'll make a
And
motion.
just real quick too, that we have a variety of ways that we can buy and sell property. There's a specific statute to sell to an adjacent property owner. We've done this a couple times, did this with Kent Johnson to bring down the Lady Rose Bar. So it's helpful when you have these really small parcels that cannot be developed on their own that you can sell to an adjacent property owner. I did this with the Pine Lake Plaza, if I recall correctly, next to the Park Department as well. So
I'll make a motion to approve the sale of this piece of property to Indiana Portfolio 1.
I will second that. Discussion?
Is there I'm just trying to understand, there's on the first page, C A says the assessed value of the property is $13,100, which is less than $15,000. They're purchasing it for $13,100, correct?
correct.
Why do we make a statement about it's less than $15,000?
Yeah,
Is
because
some
that, no,
special
that's
number?
right in the statute that there's less process you have to go through when it's
Okay.
assessed at that. So,
I see.
and then there's even for parcels that are valued under 6,000, even less process.
So there's different levels
correct.
or
Yep.
tiers based
Yep.
on the monetary
Yep.
amount. Okay,
And
thank
just
you.
one of the things we did have to do, and which has been done, is we did have to post a notice in the newspaper at least 10 days prior to this. That has been done. There was one question I see on social media about where this is at. So this is in between Washington.
Could you state the name for the
Yep,
record?
I can. It is, Laura Rifle is asking, where is this? So this is north of Washington Street, east of Clay, and I believe the western boundary is Detroit Street. So, again, there's quite a few, I think derelict buildings is probably a good way of putting it, so.
More than buildings.
And they've acquired everything in that area. So this is kind of one of the last things that we'll do. The council will make a vote at the next council meeting. It seemed pretty supportive Monday night of this.
So I do have a motion and a second.
And good question.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0. Andrea Smith, job description, as well as insurance and other retiree benefits.
Good morning, Board. Andrea Smith, Director of Human Resources. A part-time position was added to the salary ordinance, and as such, we need to have a corresponding job description with it.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion, is this for Corinne? Okay. Where again, we're combining different spots and Andrea's come through only needing part-time instead of full-time, so.
So we're sharing a person between two different departments, is that what you're saying?
Well, no, not full-time, she'll only be part-time instead
Right.
of, we were sharing
That's what
in
I
the
mean.
past. Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
I think you're comfortable with Corinne.
I am very comfortable. Thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0.
Thank you, Board. Second item for me is the retiree benefits. Somehow the retirees and the COBRA participants were dropped from being able to use our Wellport Employee Clinic. Nobody knows how, but on 1/1/2022, they no longer had access to it. We were made aware by some of the retirees, and for transparency, we want them back to be able to use the Wellport Clinic because they have always had access to it. And it's a money saver as well and convenient for them, and they pay for the service.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second that. Discussion. Is there any cost that we're going to have to pay during that time that?
We may have to reimburse some prescriptions. Earl from General Insurance is looking into that right now.
So is that an annual thing that we look at normally, or how does it run?
No, we have no idea how it dropped off. It should have never dropped off the radar. They have always had access to the clinic.
And we don't know whether that is on the city site as far as missing that,
We do not
or?
know. We do not know if the city was the one or it dropped off through Wellport.
Okay, so somehow, if we have, I mean, obviously the employees or retirees will be reimbursed for it, but we need to follow up and see really whose responsibility it is to.
You are absolutely correct. We are looking into that. We've tried to see if it was on a prior Board of Works meeting. Nobody can recall that. And so we're looking other ways to see if it was on Wellport's side that they accidentally dropped them. But we do not believe it was the city side.
And we might be able to charge GIS for it. You never know.
This is Earl
Yeah,
McLean
Earl,
from
could you
GIS.
state your name for
And
the?
I'm here to make Nick Otis look good in his defense. But, no, we don't have any direct, GIS doesn't have any direct involvement with the clinic itself. But it would appear that in the process of adding that third medical plan, that the folks at Wellport just dropped that group of people. Thankfully, it's 4 retirees, 1 COBRA member. From a cost perspective, it's just such an efficient method that we benefit on the office visit side. More importantly, the continuity of care and the close delivery system. Long term, the best medical plan, the most efficient we can be economically is with better health. And so that's what that program's designed to do.
It does make me wonder, though, we just became aware of this issue like in April or so, nothing within January, February, March, nobody said anything. It makes me think it's not being utilized very much. Is it out there and made aware of to the employees and retirees?
It only impacted the 4 retirees and 1 COBRA member, so really not a significant surprise.
Right, and until they actually used the clinic and found out that they were not on it, they may not have used it in January, February, or March.
I see.
Yeah.
But they've been made whole.
Yes, yes, they are going to be made whole. Seems to be the prescription portion is the biggest, so, yes. And that's what we want them to be able to go to the clinic and leave with their prescriptions in hand, not to have to make a separate stop at the Walgreens or CVS.
Okay.
And our goal is to be reimbursed if it wasn't our mistake.
Correct. We
Okay.
will make everybody whole, city and the retirees.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
So I do need a motion.
Did I make one already? I'll make a motion.
I will second that. Discussion.
Wait, what, I'm sorry, what are we making a motion for?
To add the, to put the retirees and the
To
one
add
COBRA
them back?
to be able to use our clinic.
Okay, I'll make a motion to do that.
I will second that. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
Thank you, board members. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Paul Brett and Andy Snyder, mutual aid agreements, and you'll see that there's only one agreement because they are exact. So.
Mayor, you can take these together. They're the exact same, just 2 different departments.
Okay, do we have one of you that would like to speak for both?
It's just basically what we do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This agreement, we've done this with LaPorte Hospital for years, now even when it went to Northwest Health. Now that there's Franciscan Beacon is a full-fledged hospital in the city, the emergency coordinator that used to be with LaPorte Hospital now works for them. He just wants to dot the i's and cross the t's and make sure that they're covered also with this mutual aid agreement.
Did you mind just explaining it for the public?
Yeah, it's very straightforward because it basically outlines the services that we provide for each other already in an emergency situation. It says that we will respond to their facility in an emergency situation. If need be, we'll share resources both ways. If we need things from them on down the line, it's something that we already understand. It's just putting it into writing for their purposes.
Do we charge nonprofits for this service versus those that are for-profit?
No, I mean, it would fall under our normal response, just as if they were citizens or any other business in the city.
But citizens are taxpayers.
Right.
So because they're nonprofit, they're still receiving the same?
Yes.
Okay.
And basically, Terry Rhoda is the head of this. He was a LaPorte police officer for years. So he's just mirroring what he did at Northwest Health. And it shows that we take over the scene. Basically, if it's a police matter, they're there to support us once we arrive.
At the hospital?
Yes.
Same thing as a fire, but again, it reverts back to, those are understood by state statute, that when we arrive on scene, we own basically own the property as it is. They're just saying that they agree, they understand that that is the case.
The good news about this is I think there's a real opportunity to work with nonprofits like this, that maybe we can work out an agreement, a financial agreement, and I think that'd be a great opportunity. So maybe this is a start, because again, we have one hospital that's for-profit and one that's nonprofit, and this was a discussion we had many years in the legislature of, you know, should there be a cost for services? And we know how important our fire and police are, so could be for an interesting discussion.
Okay. Are these services we had provided previously to Beacon? Okay, so this is, we've been doing this, we're still doing it, this is a written agreement to make sure everybody's on the same page?
Correct, yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second that. Thoughts on my ideas for nonprofits to pay for those services?
We need to dig deeper into those thoughts, which is a scary place
That's
to
what
go.
I thought. I know, and nobody wants to have those difficult discussions, but as we look to the future, you know, state of Indiana, many states have looked at this topic for years, and
I guess it would be interesting to see how states do, you know, the way that they operate them differently, and see the pros and cons to both.
and again, the minute, at least from the legislative perspective, the minute churches come down, everybody rolls over and folds their tent. But there are costs involved to providing this service.
Sure, absolutely.
So, okay, I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0. Thank you both. Mary Ann Richards, quote, opening demo, and I think I know what this is for, and we're excited about this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Last Board of Works meeting, authorization was given to the CDBG program to solicit quotes for demolition of 708 Kingsport Lane. And looks like we received one. I sent electronically the quote packages to 13 demolition contractors, and I only got a quote registration back from one.
You only received one. Who was that with? Or who was the one that responded?
The quote registration, Pavey. I had 3 companies read them, but only one.
Is that unique, Mr. Minnick, because of where it's located?
No,
Height or-
it's not unique. It's just, I don't know a contractor that isn't busy right now. So a lot of times demolitions are something that underground excavation companies use as fill-in work. There's not a lot of local contractors that specifically demo houses. So it's what company has the capacity and who's willing to respond.
And don't worry, I'm not asking to implode the house like I am the hospital, but.
And at this house, we've already done the asbestos inspection and the asbestos remediation. So we're good to go per IDEM. Pavey submitted a quote in the amount of $14,450, 14450. He states the date the work can begin is June 1st and have it completed by October 1st.
Could you go back those dates again?
He can begin June 1st with it to be completed by October 1st.
I've got an issue with that. I mean,
What do we think about the amount, first of all? Is that within what you had expected or budgeted?
Yeah.
Since we don't have anything to compare it
and
to,
one,
that's
one
fair.
thing that I can say, Pavey Excavating, who sometimes we get one bid from them, this is something that they do a really good job at, and I know I've talked to Mike Pavey in the past about, you know, we'd like to get more bids, and he doesn't care. He said he will always bid based on, you know, assuming has to be competitive and assuming that, you know, he's got to keep his numbers as low as possible to get the work. So
what's the address
I'm
again?
Comfortable with that number.
708.
708 Kingsport Lane.
seems like an easy demolition.
We can always encourage him to do it sooner.
I would like, I mean, knowing that and knowing what's going on in that area, we've spent too much time with code enforcement, too much time with our police. The people in that area deserve to feel safe. For a few that don't want to follow the rules, and we're coming for you. I mean, they better know we're going to get them. But that house will help improve that situation there, and I would prefer to see that house. I can't believe it would take that long. I can't believe.
I
3
believe
days.
the June 1st start date is a reasonable date. If he's got other jobs already underway, that will give him time to finish a job or two so he can start this one. I seriously doubt it will take till October 1st. I think that house can be down in 2 days.
Yes, and I would just like, and Nick, can we, I don't like that end game of, because that's a full nother summer, what's going on in that area.
Right.
Of that house sitting there.
Yeah, I think if he starts it by June 1st, it's done by June 5th.
I think it's
But
gonna be
I think
down
he's just giving
quickly.
himself some leeway there.
Right.
So.
But there's nothing to say he's going to start by June 1st. I think he's giving himself the opportunity to start at the end of September, based on how, speaking to your point, Mr. Minnick, about how long he.
Well, I mean, we can write the notice to
very
proceed.
busy.
To start June 1st and then give them 60 days or 45 days to complete.
We could also have June 1st as a latest start date, so you can have
Right.
kind of interim milestones along the way. And
I doubt that the contractor is going to bring heavy equipment out there and do some of it and leave it. I mean, it's
Right.
going to be done once it's there.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's not July, August, and we're getting into September. And we have a good partnership with Mike. Every job he's done with Pavey, I just want to make sure that I'm going to count on you and you to make sure they understand June 1st, as close to June 1st as possible, would help our community improve getting that house ASAP.
And I know from a utility standpoint, we've already been out there, water and wastewater, and disconnected those services. So there won't be any time waiting for us to respond to get those utilities disconnected. They've already been disconnected.
So that's good.
How does that go with NIPSCO? Or
I'm not sure if NIPSCO's turned in their
NIPSCO's been
repair.
retired. Electric and gas have already been retired. All the utilities at that site have been retired, so that house is good to go.
It's ready to come down.
And I would just remind her, and I know they check, but check for people in that house.
Squatters.
For you, squatters, drug users, and so forth, so.
we can definitely encourage Pavey Excavating to make this a priority. That's not out of the norm for us to ensure our contractors know what our priorities are.
We want those people that live there to feel safe and be able to walk to the park, do things with their kids, and this will help that. So I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
I don't think I made a motion, did I? I'll make a motion to approve the quote awarded to Pavey.
So then I'll second it. Further
Awesome.
discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0.
Okay, and then we'll award a contract in 2 weeks.
Yep, for review and,
Yeah, that's fine. I think receiving one quote, we could award pending that review if you're comfortable with it.
that's what we approved.
So we don't have to wait the 2 weeks. We can
Okay.
have the mayor sign the documents once everything looks good.
I am.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They do, I mean, they've done work for us for a long time. I think we can.
I haven't really had issues with the paperwork submitted, but CDBG program has some additional paperwork usually, so.
Right, but nothing that Mike hasn't encountered before.
Great.
I mean, he's taken
I have
down
faith in
probably
him, so.
6 or 7 houses for us, so, using CDBG funds.
No, I'm ready to move forward. Maybe that will help him get it on his calendar even quicker.
Yeah,
And we passed 2-0. Thank you.
thank you.
Pay App 1, H&G.
Thank you,
Lori
Mayor.
Larson.
Yes. I ask that the board approve the first and final payment. They're actually completed the work. I would like to note they completed at $15,600 under contract. They had less supplies and needed valves than anticipated, so that's always exciting. The work was done quickly. It was done well. There are some residents on the other side of McClung. The scope of work, there are phases to this sewer extension, and there are folks that would like to have the sewer extended to them, and we're just awaiting funds. So it's on the books. I think it's another 2 or 3 years Jerry has on the capital budget.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0.
Thank you.
Next,
Oh, Reeve Riley. I'm sorry, HRP. HRP, this is another pay request, Monroe Manor. Things are going very well. Like I said, because of the rain, some curbs and some of the work has been postponed, but they plan to start the curbs tomorrow. If it's dry, we are planting trees. We've accommodated a couple of families that have special needs for surgeries. These folks can't actually access their driveways after we take the street out and start laying new utilities and pour the curbs. So HRP has gone out of their way to accommodate 2 of these families, which we appreciate. And this is another pay application draw.
do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And I'll second that. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0. Quote opening. This is
This is
for
a
the
bit of a-
wastewater treatment plant roof. And Lauren, if you want to explain what this project is?
Sure. We have 2 buildings with 4 different flat roofs that are leaking terribly. One of the roofs has about 4 inches of water underneath the current rubber roof, and they are overdue. They need to be replaced. So Jerry put out bids, and here are two bids that we received yesterday and today, or just yesterday?
2 quotes.
2 quotes, yes, sorry.
Monday and one came yesterday.
Okay, all right. So just open them one at a time, all right? The first is from AA Rain Tight, Harvey Adams. For $108,848. That's 108-84800. Will this open? Nope. It's exciting. Everybody's watching. Okay, and the other is from Zilkowski? John Zilkowski, Corellis Roofing, thank you.
And this is, where's the total? Total job, $130,187. 130-187-00.
Do I have a motion? And I think the motion should clarify that to approve based on engineering and legal approval.
Review. The lower of the two bids to AA Rain Tight Harvey Adams. That's my motion.
I will second that. Further discussion? Is there a conflict there?
Not for me, for
Okay.
either, no.
Further discussion then? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0. Unfinished business, Mr. Minnick, you did not introduce the young man that's with us today.
The opportunity, maybe you can step the mic and just.
Come on forward. State your name and school, come on, have some fun with us.
Yeah.
Welcome to the city of Port, absolutely.
So we always like the opportunity to have students kind of shadow various departments. I think Sarah doing some sustainability work has somebody coming in and just briefly name and where you're from.
My name is.
You're good. You're
Yep,
good.
you're fine.
My name is Michael Williams, and I'm from School of Renaissance Academy. It's a little bit broader, but like, yeah, that's.
And what year are you?
I'm in 8th grade.
And what made you decide to want to follow an engineer?
Well, for the last like 2 years, like during quarantine, I got pretty interested in it, and I decided, since we have this internship, it was a good opportunity to go follow in engineering. And to go to this meeting here is kind of a nice opportunity as well.
Does it still make you want to be an engineer after this meeting?
This is one aspect.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why I kind of assume it's one aspect, but it's still very interesting to me. So.
Well, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
what does that entail?
Well, what's really impressive is he's wants to be an engineer and he's willing to get up and say anything in a microphone. So that's
Yeah, you're already ahead of the game of most engineers,
Right.
right?
very good, very good. So so he's just gonna shadow for part of the day, and then
You specifically?
and then we'll have him see what some other folks in the department do as well.
I can't imagine. It's got to be a whole new world because thinking of what engineering is and the book aspect is completely different than what actually happens in the real world. Don't hesitate to ask a lot of questions. Nick is great because he's very patient and kind.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
And then about after 3 o'clock, we've got a project we need you to work on. And
Paving, how to get more
That's
dollars
right.
into paving.
well, welcome. We're glad to have you.
All right, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
And besides that, I'd just like to take a minute to thank all the candidates, Republican, Democrat alike, that put their name on the ballot, win, lose, yesterday. It takes a lot for a person to put their name out there, their family out there, and try to improve the community. So we want to thank them for doing so and look forward to hopefully overall a fall where people focus on what they're going to provide versus throwing darts at those individuals and stating what they haven't been doing. So hopefully we'll get back to a point where that's the process. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I will second that. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.